Yeah, so Poku, yeah, good afternoon, guys. I hope everyone is fine. How many are you guys? That's why I'm quiet. I don't know the number of people in this class. So.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are 18 in number.
Okay, so there are still
Yeah.
some who are still on break.
Yes, please.
All right, so let's give ourselves maybe 5 minutes. So you can inform them I'm already in.
Yeah, I've done that, please.
Yeah, all right. Oh, Abraham, yeah, here. I wanted to even send you a message.
Okay.
The class is going to be very short.
Okay.
Very short, so I
Okay.
think we can have the class quickly and then
Oh, okay. Okay.
probably 1 hour or less than 1 hour, probably.
Okay, please.
Okay, sure. All right, so good afternoon once again.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir.
Welcome to my class, actually. Yeah, so that is it. We will start the class now, and then I just want to give a brief introduction for whatever that we are going to be having for this semester, and then we can have our discussion. You guys are just 18, so it's just going to be a very flexible class in that. All right, so we will be going through business information technology, which is trying to leverage on technology to support business processes, and then how we can be able to achieve our business objectives. You understand? So that is some of the things that we will be dealing with this semester. All right. So during our face-to-face classes, when we meet on campus, when we'll be having presentations, I will give you topics from our textbook, and then we will divide ourselves into groups, and we will have presentations in the groups. So what we'll be doing is we'll have groups out of the 18. Maybe we'll have probably 3 groups, so that we'll have 6 in a group, or if 4, if we decide to have 4. Okay, let's say 3 group for now. So 6 in a group, and then you will meet sometimes online, and then you have your discussions of the topics. Basically, that's what I do for all my classes. I create groups, and then it become a permanent learning group. So you learn together. I don't know whether you guys already have that, but to help each other.
Yes, please.
You already have that. Okay. So for this class, we have 3 groups, and
Okay.
then you guys will be working together for your group presentation. So as we go along, I don't know when we'll have our first face-to-face, but because I've not received notice on that yet, so I don't know when. And I'm sure you guys are also not aware when your first face-to-face class will. I don't know whether this semester we are not going to. Oh, Abraham, you have that?
Yeah, so our face-to-face meeting is at the end of the semester. That would be like during the revision week.
Or that, do you have that, or that is what you are thinking? That is what I want to know. Is that
That's what we. That's what I have. Yes, please.
okay,
That's
so
what
it's
we
going to
have.
be only one face-to-face.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Oh, okay, then that's fine. Because last semester we had 2.
Yes.
We had 2 face-to-face. So probably we're even fighting for this face-to-face to be taken off, so that students don't get too stressed and stuff. Some are not
Oh,
able.
okay.
So if it's not happening, that's fine. If it's just for the revision week, then that's
Yeah.
fine.
All right.
I don't know. Somebody just muted me. I don't know from where. All right. So I asked the coordinator for the LMS to create that, but yesterday night I checked and I couldn't find the page. I don't know whether it's already there, but have you guys checked? Did you have page for? Do you guys have a page for business information technology?
Not really, please.
Okay, so which means he hasn't done that. So we will create that, and then mostly I will upload the slides, and then the textbook will be on the page, so you can have the full textbook for this class, and you'll be using that. I'm putting it together. I'll be done very soon.
Okay.
I will share that on the page. But for now, I will share the slides with the class rep. I will share the slides with Abraham, and then whenever he has it, he will share with you guys.
Okay.
We can move on. If there's anybody in class who will be having issues or challenges, you can just inform Abraham, and then he will inform me, and then we can find solution to that. All right. So that is basically.
All right. Yes.
We'll be looking at introduction to, this is the overview, which deals with business information technology development and the management, and then also look at, so under this topic we'll be looking at breaking down the definition of what business information technology is. We'll try to define what information technology itself is, and then business information technology, and then we'll try to break. So this topic actually breaks the topic down for us to understand by going to the basic understanding of what business information technology is. You all know business because you deal with business, so we will look at information, we will look at data, and then try to, so the whole of this topic will basically discuss data and information and all that. So when we understand how valuable information is, and then we will understand how to use technology to be able to leverage on this information to help our businesses to be able to flourish, or to help us as HR staff to be able to work effectively within our unit or within our organization. So let me give a brief information about what business information basically is all about. All right, so when we talk about business information technology, in this context you will see BIT a lot. You see, in our school here, when we say BIT, we know it's Bachelor of Information Technology, but the BIT here is not Bachelor of Information Technology, but we are talking about business information technology. All right. So in your slides, when you see BIT, it means business information technology. So when we talk about business information technology, what are we actually talking about? Basically, it is we trying to study and then apply information technology to support our business operations. So when we talk about business operations, you know what business operations are. If you are working in the HR department, business operations is basically trying to create some kind of activities, checking how employees perform their work, the time they come to work, how many hours they work in a day, some training that employees need. These are all business operations that the HR department will have to undertake to ensure the effective progress of the organization, right? So supporting business operations, decision making within the organization, we need to make decisions, whether to promote an employee, to give some incentive to employee, to ensure employees are working effectively. We need to make decisions, and we need this technology to support us in our decision making, communicating with others within the organization, and the strategic objective of the organization. So how to study and then apply technology or information technology to support all these areas is a key aspect of business information technology. And we try to combine principles from what? Our business management, right? And then the information technology to help our organizations to use technology effectively, to be able to improve on our performances, efficiency, effectiveness, and then competitiveness of our business operations. So basically, these are some of the things that our focus will be on. How can we leverage on technology? How can we use technology to support our business management? How to manage our business activities? Because in today's world, if your focus is just on, oh, I want to be an HR expert, I want to be this, I want to be that, without having the knowledge of technology, there's an information. Oh, my voice is very a bit low. Sorry, please. When I'm teaching, I don't use my phone. So if ever there's any issue, just unmute yourself and speak. But when you send me message, I might end the class without checking my phone. I don't
Okay.
combine the two. So please, if there's anything, just tell me here so that
All right, please. Thank
the
you.
moment I start checking my phone, I will distract myself, and then my mind I might not be.
Okay.
So if my voice is down, please let me know so that I will just increase the volume. Okay.
Yes,
Please, can
please.
you guys all hear me? Oh, my voice
Yeah, we
is
can hear you.
still. Forgive me the way I'm tired now. Please,
More grace.
is the ICD recording the class? I don't know
Yes,
because
please.
have they started recording? Because
Yes, please.
I don't know whether okay, if they are recording, then that's fine. All right. So basically, I'm just giving a brief so that we can now start. We can go through the slides quickly, and then. So I want you to have a fair understanding of the whole aspect of this business information. Okay. So when we talk about, as I was explaining, when we talk about BIT, it basically focuses on how the organization can leverage on computer systems, which we will be doing that a lot. The software applications. I believe this semester you guys are still going to study more about application of computers, which you'll be having practicals on Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I think Dr. Fred Amakwa will be taking you guys through that. I wanted to add it to this course, but I realized you have a full course on that, so I decided to take that out of this course so that we focus on the theoretical aspect, and then you can have the practicals with Dr. Fred. All right. So software applications, databases, which we'll be talking more about databases as we go along. The network is also one of the topics that we'll be looking at, and then the digital technologies to manage information and then achieve our business goals so that we can be able to certify our employees and then the company at the long run, right? So when we talk about business information technology, we are trying to bridge the gap that is between the IT or the technical IT professionals. Like, oh, these are the IT people. When we go to office, oh, the IT. You know, some years back, when employees are struggling, even connecting their Ethernet cable to their laptop, they need to call an IT person because they don't understand anything. But gone were the days when those things were happening. We need to bridge the gap. So there are some basic things in our offices we can't be able to. I'm teaching level 100, the mainstream level 100 procurement students, the mainstream practical aspect of Word, Excel. And I can tell you almost 90% of my students, not 90, but a percentage of them, they don't even know how to use a laptop. You understand? But they've been using phone from morning till night. They know if you tell them to, they can. But the laptop, which is also the phone, a computer, they are struggling. It's like, I can't do this. Word, open Word, they are struggling. Open Excel, this one is not working. It's like now when I go to class, I have to become a technical person, technical professional, showing students how to open Word, how to highlight this place. So the basic thing that they need, you see. So these are some of the challenges that we face. We need to be able to break or bridge that gap that exists between these IT professionals and then the business managers or the business or the organization itself. Somebody has sent a message. I need to pay much attention to. Okay. Yeah, so basically that's what is happening. So we need to break that gap that exists so that everything doesn't become like it's an IT. This is an IT. Oh, maybe HR. I'm an HR guy. I don't understand these things. They call the IT guys. No. We need to have some basic understanding of what technology is. How can we use this technology to support our businesses and all that, you see. So that is what we are trying to overcome in our businesses. When you look at the modern organization today, when you look at the modern businesses or organization or firms today, information technology or business information technology is able to support the various business functions, such as what the accounting department, the finance department, the marketing department, the HR department, the supply chain, the customer relationship, the e-commerce, the e-business, e-marketing. We use technology to support all these areas, or we use business information technology to support all these areas, so we can be able to improve on our performances and then be able to what, gain more customers or gain competitive advantage in the market. So when we talk about this technology through MIS, there's a software called MIS, which is at the point we'll be looking at some of these softwares, ERP systems, customer relationship management systems, cloud computing, and then business analytics, which we will be looking at it in the database. When we talk about database, we will look at the business analytics and all that, how to deal with big data and how to be able to analyze this data and all that. So organizations keep on automating their business activities today, the business processes. The manual way of working is moving out of our businesses, and therefore we need to be able to understand how to use or leverage on technology to support our business activities. We shouldn't remain the same, because today it's very difficult for companies to be employing people who do not have the IT skills. So you cannot just be an HR staff without any IT skills, because when you go to the office, you won't go and see tables and papers packed on table. Gone are the days where you go to a manager's office and all you see is a lot of books, papers packed. Today you go there, you might not see anything. You might feel like this is not a company because you don't see any paper. All you see is one desktop computer, or sometimes a tablet. They just remove their tablet and then boom, they are working. And you might feel like, is he the manager of the company? Is he the manager? But he doesn't have anything in his office. A small coffee cup, and then some picture of him at the back, and then a table and then a chair, and that is all. But that is the whole manager of the company, because everything in the office has been automated. So we need to understand all these areas, and then we can be able to improve on our performances and then our activities, because the moment we do that, it improves on communication. It also helps us to reduce cost and then also enhance decision making in our organization. Leveraging on technology will help us to be able to achieve a lot of things. So we need to have a better understanding, not just because we are HR students, so all our focus is on HR and all that, but rather we need to be able to understand the importance of technology in our business today. All right, so these are some of the things, or this is the background of whatever that we are trying to achieve this semester when it comes to business information technology, and how we can leverage on this technology to support our activities. All right, so I hope you have a better understanding or background of whatever that we are doing, so that you don't get to a point where you begin to lose interest. Now, I'm here, I'm an HR student. What are we doing here? This IT things, you need it. I understand.
Yes, please.
Okay. So now let's dive into our slides, and then let's do some few minutes. I said we will close very early because I have another class at 1:45. So I need to close a bit early, and then I can relax for some few minutes and we will start. So this is about 37 slides or something. We will just divide it into two. Just go through half, and then next week we will continue with it. So I don't want to be rushing you guys. How many weeks do we have for the semester? We know, and then we can plan ourselves.
10 weeks.
How many? 9?
Yes, 9, 10.
9 or 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, then that is fine. So we'll see how. So at least we can cover about 5 to 6 topics. If it's 10, each week we'll have one topic. Each 2 weeks we'll have one topic. We break it down into 2. We do half the following week we do, so that we can be able to cover about 5 topics or 6 topics for the semester. The book is just 6 topics, so maybe the last topic I'll just give it to you, or one of the topics I'll give it to you as a presentation topic, so you prepare.
Okay.
And then during the revision week, when we meet on campus for the face-to-face, we can do that presentation, and then we will end it. All right, so thank you very much, our class rep. And thank
Thank you,
you
sir.
who is here. And you should be announcing to your friends. You should be telling your friends about the distance program.
Okay, please.
The distance, education is not a very cheap thing. So sometimes people feel like, oh, this one we thought it was going to be very cheap. No, anything that is cheap has no value. If you have that
Yeah,
thing, that anything that is so cheap, it has no value.
yeah,
Don't feel like, oh, we were thinking that, oh, because of our work. Because I get that kind of feeling a lot. That, oh, I'm a military man, I don't have time. I was thinking that the distance will be flexible. There's no flexibility in life. When it comes to education, everything is a little bit complex.
yeah,
So don't let us lose focus. Don't let us be depressed of the pressures that we go through sometimes, but rather encourage ourselves, work together as teams, and then bring in a lot of people. Yeah, because this is a school on its own. So the more you invite people to join, the more your school becomes a very nice school, like a distance school. You understand? At a point, you will have an SRC president for the distance program. We have our own unit, our everything easy. So please, let's work hard together to make sure the distance school works effectively. Okay. All right. So let's go through. So these are some of the learning objectives that we will be. Some of the slides or some part of the note, I don't add the business, but wherever you see information technology, it's supposed to be business information technology. So you don't get confused that is it business information technology or information technology? We are dealing with business information technology. So some part you just see IT, but it's the same. Okay. All right. So after going through all this, what are some of the things we should be able to distinguish or define what information technology? First, information technology, and then business information technology. Then we should be able to distinguish between data or data, information, and then knowledge. All right. So what is data or what is data? What is information? And then what is knowledge? Then describe and then evaluate information quality in terms of its characteristics. So we look at information quality or characteristics of information. What makes information information? See, we'll be looking at that. Then we will try to classify decisions by type and organizational levels. We have three main levels of decision making within an organization: the first, the second, and then the third. So we'll be looking at that, and then how decisions are made at each level to support the progress of the organization and all that. Okay. And then what? Identify the information needed to support decisions made at different organizational level. How we can use information to support decisions at different levels. Identify some of the tools and then techniques used to help make decisions. So we will try to identify some of the tools or technologies that are needed to support decision making in an organization. All right, so that is some of this. So when we come to some management issues in every organization or in every business, there are some level of decision making at the management level or at the top level. So what are some of the issues when we come to business information technology? So from the perspective of management, this chapter will address some of these issues or these areas. The importance of managing information, which is very, very important to us today, and their knowledge as a key organizational asset. We'll be looking at that. The transformation process from data to what information of high quality, the process and constraint of what decision making, the different kinds of what decisions that managers make, and then how this affects the organization. These are some of the issues that managers addresses within the organization. So what are the different kinds of decisions that we have to make in the organization, and then how this affects the organization? Because there are some decisions the moment we take those decisions, it affects the entire organization. The organization can just drop down, boom. Some decisions also help the organization to progress. So which decision must we take at which level, and how can this decision be able to support the growth of the organization? All right, so that is it. Let's hit point. Let's go on. So what is information technology? So when we talk about information technology, which is IT, it is basically what the use of computers, computer storage, networking, and then other physical devices like what? The printer, the keyboard, the mouse, and all that. And then the infrastructure. When we talk about the infrastructure, it is basically the platform that we need to be able to run this program. Like we need some servers, we need a server room, and all that. Those are all the infrastructure that needs to come together. And then the processes to create, process, store, secure, and then exchange all forms of electronic data. When we talk about electronic data, that is basically data that is traveling through computer systems. So we generate data, we capture data into the computer, we send it across. It needs to be processed to become information. Let me close my door now. There's some old lady who is making noise in my house. I don't know what's wrong with it. But I'm sorry for you. He has left her gate and then come and sit by my gate and she's making noise. And I'm having my class. Alright, so basically that is information technology. Trying to use computers, storage, network. Because we need the network. As at now, we are all using a network. Without network, you can't be in this meeting. So when you see this type of network, we are talking about the connectivity between your device and another device, so you can share information or communicate with other devices. Alright, so that is basically what information technology is, because it helps us to be able to create, process, store, and then secure and exchange information or data across different devices. Alright, so then what becomes information technology? A business information technology. We will try to understand the difference between information technology and then just technology, because technology is typically the technical aspect of, but if we are able to use this technology to support our business, then we have what we call business information technology. So it is the integration of information technology systems, which we have mentioned some of the systems, like the computers, the network, the devices, the infrastructure. Those are the systems. And then business processes, your business processes, the day-to-day activities that you perform at the HR department or at the marketing department or at the other department, to what? Improve efficiency. So this will help us to be able to reduce the cost involved in what? Achieving our goals. So if we are spending 10 cedis to obtain information, then the profit that has to come out of that information should be about 30 cedis. You understand? So efficiency, less time, quick delivery of services, decision making, and what? Strategic growth in an organization. So that is basically business information technology. Try to integrate technology systems or information technology and then the business process. So we are combining the business process, which we manually do in our offices. Go and bring this, send this file to this person. Have you seen this? Check this thing, write this letter. There are mistakes. Those are the business processes. So when we integrate technology with these business processes, we will try to what? Improve on our efficiency, our decision making, and then the strategic growth in the organization. I hope we are getting somewhere. Are we here or we've gone home?
Yes, we are here.
All right, so that is business information technology. So business information technology, which is BIT, it combines information technology with business operations, as I've explained in the definition, to be able to help us to what? Or to help an organization to operate efficiently, make informed decisions as we have defined, and then achieve strategic goals of the organization. What are the strategic goals of our department, our organization, or the unit we work? We want to be able to, like for distance school, our strategy, one of our strategic goals is to have a lot of students in the distance program to ensure that all students are satisfied. They receive the lectures that they are supposed to receive. That is one of our targets, one of our goals. And how do we do that? You know, other universities offer distance programs, and students have to go to campus during the weekend physically to have our class. So we decided to have something new. Okay, everything's supposed to be online. Just once a while we have face-to-face to meet each other and all that. So that is basically achieving our strategic goals, and it is working. We are relying on the internet, which is an aspect of the information technology, to be able to run this program. And very soon we will start having graduation for our distance students. Yes, and one day you see Abraham graduating. Yes, and his entire yes, his entire academic activity, he was on campus for maybe just 15 times, but he is graduating because we leverage on technology to support our business operation. Have online class, right? Sometimes we even write online exams easily. Understand? When the circumstance goes beyond our control, the control of the student, we have online exams. We have students who are not living in Ghana, but they are students of the distance school. You understand? So unlike the general IT, which I just spoke about, which may focus solely on what technology, like IT is just technical. BIT is result oriented, and it aligns the IT resources with what the business objective to drive revenue growth, reduce cost, enhance customer satisfaction, and then improve on what the market competitiveness. So it's not just about using technology for anything, but we rely on using the technology to support the business objectives or the business processes, which will drive what? Revenue. It will increase our revenue. It reduces cost. I mean, imagine the amount of money you are buying or data you are buying for this class, and then you traveling from wherever you are. Some are living in the northern region, some are in the central region, some are, I mean, when you compare the cost and then the risks involved, sitting in your house and having the class, you might in saying that it's too stressful. Since morning we've been having class, but it is cheaper to have this type of classes than to come to campus. Imagine this rainy season, you know, then you have to come to Accra from Takrade, come and have a lecture. You would, I know if it was to be face to face every weekend, a lot of you wouldn't be part of this program because of the cost involved. So that is it. Then enhanced customers. So you are satisfied. That is why you are here. Most of our customers are satisfied because of the online thing that we are having. That then I can be part. Since it's online, then it's just Saturdays and Sundays there. I can be part of the program.
Yes, please.
Yes, and it's giving us competitive advantage over the existing universities. Very soon we will overtake most of them. When we started this program, it was just about 14, 15 students. Now we are hitting almost something normal, 800,000 plus students.
Wow.
Yeah, and we keep on counting. So that is leveraging on technology to support the business processes. The business process is to have online, to have classes. Day to day we meet and have class, but we are using the internet, the Zoom, to now have the classes online. So that is trying to leverage on to reduce cost and all that, and then you gain competitive advantage. So typically IT is used in the context of business operations as opposed to technology, which is used for personal or entertainment purposes. You understand? When we talk about just the general technology, it is used for other things. You understand? But the moment we bring in the business, then we are looking at supporting the business operations, the business activities of the organization. So the HR department, we are leveraging on technology to support the HR operations, not just using technology for entertainment or for personal use like chatting and watching movies and whatever, but trying to use it to support your business processes or send it through email. I mean, imagine there is no technology in this case. I would have asked Abraham to come to campus and come and get the slides There's a book in my office. Come, I'll give it to you. Then he has to pick the book, whether to do photocopies or the slides. Get the slides, do photocopies, go and meet each person and give the slide to the person. I mean, look at the stress involved. Because of technology, I shared the slide just this afternoon, and everybody in the class is having the slides.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is what we are trying to understand. So as the industry evolved from the mid 20th century, computing capability has increased. You all understand that. I mean, you did microcomputer or computer application first semester. Did you guys
Yes,
do that?
please.
Yes, so you understand the history of computers. I believe you went through the history of when we talk about hardware, software. You did something about the history of computers when it comes to computer hardware, which we will still be doing that this semester anyway, because it's part of, we need to understand it better, or we need to increase our knowledge on that so we can be able. So the computing capability has increased, unlike the olden days computers, where a computer can process one activity at a time. Today a single computer can perform more than 5-6 tasks at the same time, multitasking. The operating system can perform different functions at the same time. So the capability of the computer has increased. Devices cost and then energy consumption has also decreased. Then a cycle that continues today when new technologies emerge. That is one of the things that we are experiencing when it comes to technology. That technology keep on evolving. In the olden days, it's very, very expensive to buy a computer. When we talk about the 60s, how many people in Ghana here could afford a computer? Even mobile phone, look at mobile phone. Some years back, when mobile phones came into existence, if you are not a rich person, you can. So when you see somebody holding a phone, I mean, I believe some of you are a little bit old, so you know when technology or computers or mobile phones began to come into the system. You know how it was. When you see somebody holding, then they were big phones. You understand? But you see somebody holding one, the mobile phones. When you see somebody holding one, it's like, hey, he's a rich man. But today, kids, primary school boys and girls are all using phones because the cost of these devices have become cheap. And it used to consume a lot of energy, but today, I mean, it doesn't consume much energy and all that. Those days when you plug on your desktop in your room, it takes away almost 1/3 of your energy. But today you can be watching. So when your light bill comes in and it's too high because you are using a laptop, it becomes a shock, because it doesn't consume energy, and it keep on evolving, and it will evolve to, sometimes you will charge your laptop and it will take you 3 days. You'll be using it in 3 days, it's still working. You don't need to charge it again. So that is where we are getting to. Technology is helping the business environment to be able to operate effectively. So when we talk about BIT, or business information technology, it encompasses a wide range of what technologies and then systems that are used to store, retrieve, process, and then transmit data from specific use cases. So BIT helps us to be able to, or business information technology helps businesses to be able to what? Store, retrieve, and then process data. Because data always needs to be processed, as you did in computer systems first semester. That without processing the data, we can't use it. The data is not effective, but the moment you process it, it becomes what? Information. Do you get it? So that is basically the use of information, business information technology. So now let's break this down. We have defined what technology is, we have defined what business information technology is, and then we know the difference between a pure information technology and then business information technology. So let's go deep and then break it down so we understand where we are heading towards. All right. So what now is data, which I believe you've done that in your first semester. You spoke about data and all that. So what is data? So data are raw facts or raw figures or observation that are considered to have little or no value until they have been processed and then transmitted or transformed into what? Information. So data is meaningless. It doesn't give any clear information. It doesn't communicate something to us. It needs to be processed. It needs to go through to become information. Until we transform data, data will remain just raw. So raw facts does not give a clear picture. It's like me sending pictures without any description. What's the purpose of these pictures? You understand? I come to class and then I open a video and then it's just playing. What does it mean? Like my first class meeting you guys online, then I just open a video and then the video is playing. No explanation, nothing. Why are we watching a movie? Is the lecturer showing us a movie or what is it? What are we doing here? Abraham will come and ask questions.
Yes.
Sir, what is happening? So are we having class? Sir, you are showing us a video. We don't understand. Can you explain? You understand?
Yeah.
At that point, it's data to the person. When we talk about data and information, even what we are having now can be data to somebody. You understand? If I take this to a market woman who has not been to school, it is raw to the person. It doesn't make any sense to the person. Now the person will begin to ask, what is this? So data or information always resides in the mind of people. That is one of the things we need to understand, because what we are reading and what we explain, maybe when you read you will understand, but somebody might read and might not understand. Imagine this was in Chinese. How many of us here would understand what it is, even though it's writing? Abraham, would you be able to understand?
No, please.
Yes, so it basically becomes raw facts to you without any meaning until you read and then you understand. Even our normal writings becomes data. Okay,
Wow.
so yes, so sometimes it needs, oh, this is information. Most of the time, even when you pick a newspaper is what? Data. It's raw facts until you are able to transform it into a meaningful something to you. It's not information. I understand. So
Yes.
in a typical technological environment, information is anything that resides in your mind. If you don't understand it, if you're not able to process it and then come up with a meaning, it's not information to you.
Hmm.
I hope we are getting the concept.
Yes,
That is why
please.
some exams, student write some exam and they are getting it because he or she was not able to process that into information.
Hmm.
I hope we are getting it.
Yes, please.
It was just a raw kind of something to the person. Somebody who calls, they say, ask for your course. Then I read, I don't understand anything. Yes, I tell no shishi. I don't get anything at all. It's raw facts to the person. But to another person, it's information. The person can process and make a meaning.
Yeah.
That is basically raw facts and then processing it until we are able to process it, transform it into information. It is not an information to us. Because like me visiting Volta region or northern parts, I'm northern part of Ghana, and then they start speaking their language. You know, when
Yeah.
the two of them are speaking, it's they are sharing information. Because the
Hmm.
person hears it and then he's able to process and understand and make a meaning out of it. I am just hearing some sound coming out of somebody's mouth. I don't know what
Yeah.
he or she says. So it is just data to me. All right, so let's find some examples of this. And we'll be having exercises in that, so you'll be able to identify this is information, this is data. Example: a series of non-random symbols. You see, so Chinese writings can be symbol to you.
Yeah.
To you, it's a symbol, but to the Chinese man, it's a word that he understands. So numbers, when you see number, I come to class and I come and write 478 80 200, and I say start work. You begin to ask me questions. You know, but in your normal sense, you think numbers are information to you. You understand? But until a number has been written or some numbers written, and they ask you to start work, and you don't know what you are starting, that is where you understand that numbers are not information until it has been processed. Something has been added to it to give a meaning. It is not information. So values can also be numbers or words, normal words. That is what I'm saying here. You see, these are words, but it can be information to another person. It can also be what data to another person. So that is basically example of what data or data. A series of facts obtained by observation or research and then recorded. This is also data. So I come to class, I sit among you guys, and then I begin to observe the behavior of people, and then I'll just be writing down something. It is basically raw facts. I need to go and process it to convert it into what information. Then I can now say that, oh, based on this and this, that is why the students are always doing this in the classroom. But initially, whatever I observe is just data. Or I give questionnaires to you guys to fill the questionnaires. 70 said this, 30 are saying this. It is raw facts. I need to go and process it and then give a meaning. All right. So a collection of non-random facts. Just asking people, and then they tell you, well, oh, this happened here. This one is also saying this. Collecting all those things, you need to come and process them to be able to make a meaning of whatever that was collected for it to become information. And then the record of an event or fact. I go to the stadium, I watch football, and then I record the event, what was happening there. It's basically raw facts that has no meaning. I need to be able to process it to get some facts. So sometimes when you are watching football, you understand, why is the coach not bringing this player? Why is this player on the bench? You understand? Because you are just getting raw facts about what is happening there, the event. But the coach has processed certain things, and then he understands the tactics that he's playing. That is why, and until the person explains it to you better, you would always argue. So basically, that is what we term as what data or data. So what is information? So information is basically data that has been processed so that they are meaningful. So I hope you are getting it now. If you are not able to process this thing, what I'm giving you now, I'm not giving you any information. All that I'm giving you is data. So the moment you're able to process so that it becomes meaningful to you, then you have information out of the class. And then if you're able to apply it, then you have gained knowledge. You see where we are heading to?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm giving you raw facts, which I'm just saying. So I'm now explaining the raw facts. So the moment you are able to process it to make a meaning, you have information. And then when you're able to apply your understanding of that information, then you have gained knowledge about this course. All right. So example of the definition of what information. It is data that have been processed so that they are meaningful to you, the end user. Data that have been processed for a purpose. So we are going through this for a purpose. That is it. And then data that have been what interpreted and then understood by the recipient. So when you are able to what interpret this subject and then understand, then you have gained information, or you have information about business information technology. So we need to really understand the meaning of data and then information, so that when we see certain things, we don't just argue that, oh, this is information, this is data. To you it is information, but to another person it might be data, because the person is not able to make a meaning out of. So let's look at this direction and or the figure below. So data, and then it has to go through processing phase, transforming it, and then it becomes information. So I'm giving you raw facts. You have the slide. You need to process it in your mind, and then after processing it, it becomes information which you can use to support your decision making. All right. Can we continue, please?
Yes, please.
All right. So information involves or transforming data using a defined process. As we said, it has to go through a process. So there's a specific process that it has to go through. It has to go through step 1, step 2, step 3 to become information. All right. It involves what? Placing data in some form of what? Meaningful context. Information is always placing data in some meaningful context. When data is placed in some meaningful context, it becomes information. So now I am reading a newspaper. Now I understand the newspaper. I have placed it in some context, so I can make a meaning out of this newspaper. Then I have gained information. I have information of what this newspaper is saying. So information was what is produced in response to an information need, and then therefore serves as what a specific purpose. And then it helps to reduce uncertainty, thereby improving decision making. Information is very, very important in our organization. So let me ask you this question. So information, money, and all that, which one is more important in our life today? Money? Okay, let's use money and information only. Money and information, which one is the most important asset? They are both important, but which one do you think is the most important asset? To your best of knowledge. Anybody in class, oh, please, it shouldn't be myself and Abraham alone. Stephen, Opoku, Nimatu, Ibrahim, you are all here, so please. Other than that, I might feel like you guys are not in class, like you're just in the meeting. But you're not
Service, you are here. You are here.
you guys are here. Okay. Musa, Vida, Apeu, NQ, Fori. You guys are all. You need to contribute your quota to the meeting. So I'm saying information and the money in our life today. Which one is the most important asset of you as a person
Hello, sir.
or organization? Somebody was speaking, please. Oh, I'm listening. Oh.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Please, this is Opoku, sir.
Okay, Opoku, yes.
I think information is more important than the money.
Yes. So Opoku believes information is more important than money today.
Yeah, because knowing without information, it's difficult to make money. We make money through information we had.
Yes.
So for me, I think information is more important than the money. Yeah.
The money. Okay. Yes, who else? Fabiana. Are you here? Queen Fabiana, and then Jennifer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
actually at the program, sir, but I'm listening, sir. I'm paying attention.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So,
Thank you.
okay, you see, in the olden days or in some time past, we always consider if you want to have a business, if you want to build a business or you want to grow a business, there were some resources that we do consider as the most important resources that we need. I don't know those of you who did, is it business economics or business management in school or costing or whatever. We were looking at what? Labor, land, and then capital. So these three resources are the most important resources that we need if you want to establish business. I don't know if you remember that. in high school and those days. They used to teach us that part. Those who did business in school. You need labor, you need people who will work, and then you need money, capital. And then you need land, because without the land you can't have a business. But today there are several businesses that do not have any land, but it's still flourishing. You understand? So we cannot consider land as one of the most important assets that much. But information in our life today, if you don't have information, my brother, you will perish. Because information can reduce uncertainty. Your behavior can easily change towards a person when you have information. You might not venture into a business when you have information about the business. You will not invest into something if you have information about that business. And you invest into some business when you have more information about that business. That, oh, it will work. If you're able to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things, it will work for us. So information has become the most important asset of every organization today. That without information, now if GCTU doesn't have information about running a distance program, we can't start. How do you start it? You see, a lot of people start businesses today and then the business collapse. Why? Because they lack information. So they just start the business. Boom, the business has started. Start running it 1, 2, 3, and then boom, the business collapse. Why? Because they don't have that information that will help them to be able to run the business. So information is very, very important to every organization today. Your decision of, sometimes people kill, somebody might kill someone because of what? Inadequate information. Partial information, and they take action, they kill somebody, say, oh, I didn't do it well at all. I didn't get the full information about the whole issue. You sack somebody from the office because of some information that you receive, which is not the full information but partial information. So information in our life today is very, very important. Every organization depends on information to grow their business. If you have money and then you lack information, your money will just go away within a short time. It is because of the information you obtain, that's why you are here. If you don't have information, I don't think you'll be in this class. Hello, what do you think?
Yes, sir, that's very true, sir.
Yes, sir.
I want to be hearing voices so that I know that people are with me.
Mm.
So, information is key to the survival of every business today. And if information is very important, then because every organization rely on information to grow their business, to expand their business, to achieve its goals. For you to be able to compete in the market, it's like you're going to fight, you're a boxer, you're going to fight your opponent, but you don't have any information about your opponent. My brother, you will die in the ring. And then, as I sit here, I say I want to box. Who am I going to box? I say I don't know the person. I've never watched his video before. I get into the ring and then my opponent is my taxi. I'm going to die in the ring now. I see there's that but you didn't tell me but you didn't ask any question. You said you were ready, so go into the ring. I understand. Information, you need to prepare, gather information, watch videos, see how the person throws his punches, and then now you can prepare and decide how I want to fight. So that is basically information. Information will help you to overcome. So we have an activity here. So what type of information process are involved when a national retailer summarizes the national sales information or sales information nationally? What type of information is involved? So it is something that you can just gather your own ideas and then just go through. It's just some activities for you to freshen up your mind in whatever that we are doing. So what you need to understand is that information is very, very important, and we need information to be able to survive and to grow our business. All right. So how do we then process information? Types of information processing. Let me see, how many slides are we on? Yeah. So when we are done with this, and then we'll go through these things, and when we get to slide 20, we will end here. When we get to this side, we will close and then continue next week. I think I have given you enough information for today that will help you to be able to expand knowledge.
Yes, please.
Yes. All right. So quickly, as we close, types of information processing. We need to, information goes through different processing when we want to use the information in our organization or within our department or our unit, right? So one of the ways to process information is what? Classification, classifying the information. So this involves what? Placing data into what? Categories. Then we can process it to become, so we have category A, category B, like your class. We want to group you into this. We have group A, group B, group C. All those coming from northern region, all those coming from eastern region, all those coming from Ashanti region, all those coming, we can group them into, we can classify them to all males and females. So we know how many males are in the class, how many females are in the class. So we can quickly make an informed decision. We are going to give shoes to students in the class. We need to be able to classify the group into males and females. So we know how many female shoes we need to buy, how many male shoes we need to buy. So categorizing an expense as either a fixed or variable cost will help you to be able to. So one of the ways is to classify information in different categories, maybe males, females, short, tall, dark colored. These are all ways to what? Classify information, so we can be able to make an informed decision. And then rearranging or sorting the data. This involves what? Organizing data so that items are grouped together or placed into what? Particular order. So the example I give can also fall into this. So employees data, for example, might be sorted according to what? The last name or the payroll. So you can have last names, so all those with A's will be on top, B follows, C follows. We are sorting them according to alphabetical order. So that is one way to process information. So it becomes easier to search, or we use your SNIT number or your employee number. So the moment you come, so when you go to the bank, you see bank accounts are sorted based on what? The arrangement. So they have a number that has been given to your bank number. So the moment you go there, say, give me your bank account number. And you mention your number, they capture it, and then your details are open on the system. They get it. So that is it. And then one way is also to what? Aggregate. So aggregating the information. It involves what? Summarizing data, for example, by what? Calculating averages, totals, or subtotals. So we don't want to have all the details. All we need to know is what? The exam score or the grade A, B, C, D. That's all that we are interested in now. So give us only the final grade or the final score, class score, and then exam score added together. What is the total? So this person got 65, this person got 78, this person got 68, this person got this. So that is what we are interested in at the moment. Do you get it? So that is one way of processing information. So that the moment you pick, we are not now going to check class score. This person got 10, this exam score this, and then the total was, we are just interested in the total. And then the grades. So aggregating them, it's also one way. Then performing calculations. Example might be what? Calculating an employee's gross pay by multiplying the number of hours worked by the hourly rate of the pay. So we can be able to obtain an information. So how many days did the person come to work? The person came to work 25 days. And then each day a person is marked 20 cedis, so we multiply 20 by 25, and then quickly we can obtain information. So we know this person is receiving this person is receiving that, this person is receiving that, and then selecting is also one way of processing information. I think I asked one of my students, one group of students in exams to state the type of information processing. They were struggling to be able to. Meanwhile, it's in the slides. I don't know whether they didn't open the slides or something. I just talk about performing calculation, selecting information, and all that, and then just explain them with examples. Very simple. So we may never know. I understand. Maybe in future we might have something like that in exams.
Okay, sir.
So selection is also somebody. Let me see what somebody has written. Abraham is laughing. Yeah. So maybe we may never know. So it involves choosing or discarding items of data on the basis of what? A set of selection criteria. So either we choose or we discard it. It's not part based on. We are looking for only females. So any male who joins the queue, we just add the person to leave the queue. For now, we are focusing on females, or we are focusing on males, and then we select. It's like football. So we are selecting under 17. So the moment they check your beer and like, are you sure you are 17 years? Oh no, you stand here, and this one stand there. Your height stand there, and then that is how. Before we can even start the process, we use selection to get the actual information that we need. So that is basically some of the processes of what, or processing information or data to become information. So these are examples, an activity that you can read and then try and see if you can be able to identify which one is information, which one is data, and all that. All right. So you go through based on our explanation of information in the slides and then data. So this is also another activity that you can go through. Have I skipped some of the slides? Okay, no. All right, so tangible and then intangible information. When we say information is tangible information, what does it mean? And then when information, we'll talk about that as we go along in the slides. So what is the importance of formal and then formal information or informal information? So formal information or formal communication. Formal communication involves what? Presenting information in a structured and then consistent manner. So there's an order. It flows from A to B to C to D to E in that order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the last one. That is basically formal communication or use of information. When we talk about data or information, they come from or they have structures: formal, informal, and then semi-formal information, or structured, semi-structured, and then unstructured information. So that is what we are trying to say here. Formal information or formal communication of information. When there's order, there's a structure. So we just follow the structure to communicate. And then informal communication, this describes less well-structured information. That is what transmitted by formal means, such as what? Casual conversation between members of staff. I mean, when we go to office and then we are there sitting there having normal conversation, it is not a structured information. Everybody can just bring in a topic. But when it's about work, then we know the steps you have to take to complete the work. Our normal conversation we'll be talking about football, whilst others will talk about some movie, and then the Black Stars, and then this one. And like Chelsea has signed this player. Oh, you know this guy? It doesn't have any formula. I hope you are getting it. Informal communication doesn't have any formula, or sharing of information doesn't have any formula. It can start from anywhere. Like sometimes, how can you are always with your boyfriend? How are you? What are you? There's no formula in your communication. This one brings the topics. You are talking about it. When you are done, you bring another topic. You are sharing this. a man and a woman living in a house together. What are you people saying? Every day you are together in a room. We are having informal communication. Anything comes, we are just discussing. But when it's about work, there's an order. This must be sent to this person. It has to sign. It moves to this person, and it has to go to this person. So that is basically formal and then informal communication in an organization. So information quality dimensions. Next week we will explain more about this information quality, but information must be current. That is very, very important. When we talk about time, currency is very important. When we need information now and then we don't receive the information, timeliness, currency, frequency, and then time period. If you don't have classes, I don't give you slides, I don't do anything, and then examination week I set questions, and then I call Abraham. Yes, sir. Oh, so how was the paper? Oh, sir, we didn't, how students, they will just be laughing. Say we didn't write anything about Charlie. Say, so I'm sending you the slides. Which slides are you talking about? Oh, the slides for business information technology. Oh, but I said we are done with the exams. Yes, I want you guys to read through the slides. What are we reading it for?
even with the slides, it's not easy.
You see, and now you didn't even give us anything at all. No lectures, no slides, nothing. We meet, the lecturer doesn't come. Then exam week, questions are set, and then after the exam, he's telling us to read the slides. Is it quality information to us now? We don't need such information.
Yeah.
So the currency of the information is very important. The time at which the information comes, the timeliness, the frequency at which the information flows, the time period. This is when we talk about time. And then the content, the accurate information. If my slide contains football, Ghana Black Stars, the tactics the coach played against Panama, and then the tactics is going to play against England. Like, what is this say? Is it accurate information? Is it relevant to the class? So the relevancy, the accuracy of the information, the completeness of the information, the conciseness of that information, and then the scope where it covers. Our course cannot divert into explaining what HR is. No, that's not our focus. So the scope, we need to have a direction, we need to have where we are covering, we need to have limitation. Then form, clarity of the information, details of the information, the order is the structure of the information, how the information is presented, the media or the medium through which the information can be shared. Is it hard copy? Is it soft copy? These are very important that describe the quality of the information. The confidence in the source where the information, you see, you are comfortable in the meeting because you believe that the school has assigned a lecturer that you believe he can teach. That's why you are here. So the confidence in the source, you have confidence in who has been assigned to teach you. So that's quality of information. You are receiving some quality information because you trust the source. It is a reliable source. You see, you are relying on this information because it's a reliable information. Reliability is very formatted correctly. The slides are in order. It's not a messed up slides B. We don't know what the slides. A bit talks about HR, another part is talking about accounting, and then some mathematics somewhere, and it's like Charlie, there's no direction in what we are doing. The format is Zuguma. The appropriateness of the information received by the correct person. That is also very important. That when the information is not received by the correct person or the actual person, it creates a lot of chaos. Sent by a correct channel. The channel through which information also travels makes the information a quality information, because there are certain information when you receive them, you feel like, Charlie, this one I suspect is not coming from the right channel, the right source. So I don't want to even click on it. Click here and then do this, and then you need to. So is there a quality information and all that? So this is basically some explanation of information and then all that. In our textbook, you have more expansion in the quality of information and all that. So we will end here for questions and then contribution, and we will continue next week Saturday, same time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Same venue. All right, thank you. So any question, any contribution? Any question, please, as we end our class today? Yes, please.
So please, with the tools of the IT, I want to ask, can we add data, apps? Because I think without the apps too, we can't perform anything. So when you add apps, is it part of it?
Apps, applications.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so the software aspect will talk about the applications. So apps are just applications that we use on our devices and our phones and all that, which is a software. So when we dive into hardware and software, we'll be talking about hardware and software as one of the topics. So we will talk about some of these apps or softwares and then how they function and their purposes on our computers.
Thank you, sir.
I believe Dr. Mangwazafo's topic will deal more with these softwares, like how to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It's one of the courses I'm teaching this semester with the procurement class. I'm teaching them. I think in future they have to combine that class, your class, and then there, so that you guys will have, since it's second semester, you have the same, because it's the same course, and so maybe one lecturer can take that course and then can combine.
Okay.
You need to learn how to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all that for your personal productivity and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much, HR, for your time. And we will meet again next week Saturday.
All right. Thank you too for your time. We really appreciate you. Yeah, the Lord bless you.
All right. Bless you all too. Today we didn't hear the ladies. Where are they? Hey. Ladies, please. You need to motivate us.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You can't be quiet, sir. It's not nice. So next week we will hear more from the ladies.
All right, please.
So thank you all, and we will meet next week.
All right, sir.
The rest of the evening.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
So the next lecture is 4 p.m.
All right.
All right.